Honey Badger Games sponsors Diary of a Lincoln Geek, the perfect treat for any class. They have an amazing selection of meeples, dice and potions, all in fantastic jelly form. Check out the website and the discounts below. Hi and welcome to the show. In this episode we are talking about the best highlights from UK Games Expo. We had a blast at the event and we made some awesome new friends and also some old friends while we were there as well. So hopefully everyone can hear me, and we'll just briefly pop round the room and say hi to everyone. Hello, I hope you can all hear me nice clearly.
Yep.
Yay, brilliant. We would like to hear. Right, okay, so for anyone who's not been or seen the show before, Diary of a Lincoln Geek, we are a review channel. We do lots of press events. We've been to UK Games Expo this year, and this year we took a very kind of relaxed tone to it and actually played some games rather than doing tons of live streaming from the event. So hence we're doing this after the event because, let's face it, we came across some awesome things. So going around the room, we have Nick Barker from Devilfly. Say hi. Nick, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry. I had a little bit of an issue there, but we're back now, I think. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So we've got Nick from Devilfly, and we've also got Chris from Devilfly as well.
Good evening.
Yeah. We also have Leia from Wonderbow Games. Yay. And TikTok. Hello, fellow TikToker. We also have a lovely Matt Robinson. And we've also got Scott from Minerva Games. And of course, we now have a Gregor from the Diary of a Lincoln Geek team as well. Hello, Gregor.
Hello everyone.
So Gregor is going to be here. We'll have a chat as well. You'll probably recognize Gregor as well because he was there at UK Games Expo as well. We had a blast. We really did enjoy it. And he's going to help out with probably a bit of moderation and maybe ask some questions himself. But for a start, I just want to say, did everyone have a really good expo? Because I certainly did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
The one thing I think loads of people always take away from UK Games Expo has definitely got to be the atmosphere and the amount of people that are there. But do any of you have anything kind of different from that? Any favourite elements, Nick or Chris?
I guess we were incredibly busy for the whole weekend demoing our new game. So unfortunately, we didn't get to see or enjoy as much of the expo as we would have liked. But we met loads of people over the weekend who sort of tested the game, including yourselves, and we had some great feedback and just got some great vibes, great energy from everybody we met, which was really, really fantastic.
That's great. And what about yourself, Scott? Because I saw everyone else was nodding along to that as well. But is there anything from your perspective? Because you've been to a few now.
Yeah, I have. I think this is my 5th exhibiting. It did feel quite different actually. I think this is Hilda who's decided to join us, by the way.
That's fine. We're like pets on the channel.
This year felt a bit different. I'm not sure whether it was like the people that were there or kind of where I was with my games as well. But a bit of the same. Like I did not get as much time to kind of take in the show as I thought I would. I think I packed my schedule so tightly that I forgot to take a bit of a breather. But it's all good because it was catching up with people like yourself and other designers and meetings, pitches, all that kind of stuff. So I think next year I'm definitely going to take a bit more time to just enjoy the show.
Fair point. And what about yourself, Leia? What was your perspective from it? Because is this the first time you've done UK Games Expo?
Yeah, it's the first time. We're a very brand new publisher. We've been out there for a year now, or a little bit more than a year, and we decided to go to England and showcase our new prototype. And we actually just showed the prototype all the time. And I took on the last day, the last 30 minutes, I was like, I'm gonna run around and actually try to see something, because
30 minutes to get round.
Yeah, 30 minutes. Yeah. I was running, literally running around.
How much round did you get round?
Well, I did actually walk through the two bigger halls, and I did speak like for 10 minutes to the nice people at Senate magazine, and that's it actually. So then I ran back, and then
we love the guys over at Senate. So yeah, no, that's great. And what about yourself, Matt?
Really. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to add, like, compared to Spiel, which was our very first convention the year before, the people and the atmosphere was so much nicer and chill, and just really willing to want to play games, because Spiel is like, go, buy, go out, put in the car, go back again, buy again, and stuff. So England was really very nice. Yeah,
that's a great perspective. It's nice. I'm sure the guys from UK Games Expo would love to hear that. So that's brilliant. I like that. What about yourself, Matt Robinson? So Matt, you were there. This was your first year as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's my second show. I did Aircon in last November, was it? But it was my first UKGE, and yeah, it was pretty blown away by the scale of the event. It was incredible. I remember walking through with my game and my bits, and going through the roadways of the NEC, and it's like being in some huge city, and everyone's there to game. It's absolutely incredible. So. Yeah, the scale really blew me away. But then as soon as I got into the event, and yeah, it was just chock-a-block busy with people just coming along, getting involved, having a go on the game, giving feedback and chatting and meeting lovely folks like yourselves. And yeah, it was just sort of 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock, just absolutely jam-packed with gaming, which was great. So I saw about as much of the event as anybody else, as the other folks here probably. Yeah, I did sneak in early one morning and had about half an hour, 40 minutes beforehand. And one night I stayed after the hours, but it's not quite the same when it's closed down and empty. But yeah, it looked amazing from what I saw.
That's great to hear. I mean, we've got a few people that are joining us from TikTok. Loads of people are saying hi. Thanks very much for joining us, guys. And we've also got a load of people that are actually watching live now as well across all our social media platforms. That's Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So if anyone's got any questions for any of the guys on the show tonight, just drop them up and we can pop them up on screen and we can try and get them answered during the show. So in the meantime, I just want to very quick, before I forget, say thank you for everyone for coming on the show, because of course I've been so busy myself that trying to get, organize the guests for the show kind of came out this last week. So thank you everyone for making yourself available. It just goes to show that we have great relationships with a lot of the people we do reviews for, and we're looking forward to doing reviews of games that are yet to come, because some of the games that we've highlighted from yourselves, Alaya, I know obviously your previous game did really well on Kickstarter. And of course you had a new one, Kelp, which is running, is to come, isn't it? But you've also got Scott with a new one coming as well called Crumbs. Do correct me if I get this wrong anyway, guys. And Devilfly are running theirs at the moment. It's due to finish any day now, isn't it? And that's Undermined, and that review is live on the website now. And we've also got Matt's game, which was when's it? So yours is War of the Worlds, One More Day. Is that right? Or
that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow, I remembered it. And when are you planning to go to crowdfunding for that, or have you done that yet?
That's a very good question. Definitely haven't done it yet. It's in the pipeline. So the game is still in late development. There's still a bit of tweaking to do, and some more artwork to refine and get made. But once that's ready, then yeah, I'm hoping it might be 6 to 9 months, I imagine, by the time it all gets all the way through. It's always a lot slower than I hope. So I'm trying to be realistic with that.
No, that's good. That's good. So for anyone who wasn't at Expo and may have not gone to your stands, I'll start with the guys from Devilfly. Can you just give us a very brief synopsis of your game in under 2 minutes? Go.
Fair. So I'll take this one, Chris, if you don't mind. It's a card and dice engine building / engine maintaining game set in the gold rush era of the Wild West, where you're all prospectors looking to uncover as much treasure as you possibly can before your opponents. There's some push your luck elements to it. The treasures you find are worth victory points, but they also have a dollar value because once you've acquired them, you can sell them back in future turns to buy items because your engine, as you're using it, your items degrade, they can break, and you can also buy nicer things there too. While you're hunting for treasures, though, you may encounter perils which can set you back and cost you items, resources. They can cost you your treasures as well if you're really not careful. And lastly, you've got fun little event cards that you can play on each other too, just to either help yourself or hinder your opponent. There's a little bit of fun and games thereabouts. I think that's the real whistle-stop elevator pitch. If we're going maybe 6 to 8 floors, that's about what we can get for there. But yeah,
brilliant. I like it. Very, 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 very good. You did that very well.
You can tell I've done it a few times, can't you?
Yeah. And the Kickstarter, which Gregor has just brought up on screen, so thank you very much, Gregor, is there live now. So if anyone wants to go and have a check that out, then of course please do. And like I say, we've also the review was done midweek for you guys because of the schedule in which it is to end. So the review is live on the site if you want to go and check out our thoughts and feelings of the game. It's live, so I can tell you we liked the game. We scored it 5 out of 6, which is a pretty good score from Mr. Sam. So Mr. Sam did the review, and we played it together just a couple of weeks ago. So we really enjoyed playing it. We were really impressed with it, how it went. So
thank you.
No,
we've even included a quote from you guys because you had such lovely things to say. So thank you.
That's good. That's good. I did spot that. And please do not change the quality of those cards. Whatever you do, do not put linen finish on them.
No, we're definitely not for linen finish. We know that. I think they're gonna be as high, very high quality still, because I think that's a really important thing for us to do, was to make sure that as much as the gameplay is where we want it to be, the rest of the components, as much as we can, reflect that as well, with the the artwork and the graphic design and the card stock as well.
Yeah, no, that's very much, it's a valid point. So I even made a point that I normally go against the whole upgraded elements in Kickstarters and stretch goals. But I've actually eaten my own words for once, and there's quite a lot of humble pie in my little quote that I said. But please do some metal coins. That would be amazing, and it would work really well with the theme of this game. So
yes, we have heard your feedback. Don't worry about that.
It would be really nice.
Things go.
Yeah, see how things go, but it still is. It's got a great theme, and you captured it really well in the cards. So I definitely urge anyone who likes the thought of digging away and shoveling out coal and looking for treasures. It's definitely up your alley.
Cool, thank you.
No, that's good. So working way back around the room. We've done Devilfly guys. Laia, did you want to go next?
Sure. So we have 2 games. The one game you already know, Hunters of the Lost Creatures, is gonna go to retail in the UK now any day. This is really cool. So everyone can go into the stores and ask for it, and then we have a distributor that can actually send the game over there. So this is pretty
wonderful.
Cool.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, and the other game that we were presenting at UK Games Expo is Kelp. And the short pitch for that, it's a 2-player, highly asymmetrical game, shark versus octopus. And I have it set up here, if you can see. So this is actually how the board looks. And the main difference is the mechanics, of course. So the shark, we have a Lego shark here as the prototype.
I spotted being a Lego freak that I am.
And the shark swims around the board trying to find the octopus. And this is actually the view of the shark. So the shark is actually looking at the blocks that look the same. And the octopus plays cards. He has kind of a deck builder and is hidden behind one of those blocks. Where is it? Here. Yeah. So the whole goal for the octopus is actually to survive, and the goal for the shark is actually to hunt the octopus and eat it. So it's based on real nature, and it's 30 to 45 minutes playtime, and
Nice.
it's really, really cool. And feedback was great, and we hope to. Oh, it's actually illustrated by Webers in Santiago, which is super, super, super nice. And I think we will go to Kickstarter this October, November, something like that.
Fantastic. Watch this space for that one. So, Matt, we're going to go to you next, Matt.
Cool, yeah. So, yeah, War of the Worlds One More Day is a story-driven deck-building game set in the novel, or set during the novel written by H.G. Wells. So it's all tied right back to that Victorian England vibes. So, yeah, you would play as one of two survivors of the Martian invasion, and it's all about evading and dodging and running away rather than trying to fight these monstrous titans of death from Mars. So yeah, you play as one or two survivors. There'll be 6 stories in the core box, and you'll play through the stories. They'll take you to a number of different locations that are in the game. And you'll be constantly trying to survive against the various threats, whether they're Martian-based or from the fall of Victorian civilization. So it's a deck building game. So you'll start with a unique deck of 10 cards that's specific to your character. So you'll have the journalist or the infantry soldier in the core box. Each one comes with their deck of 10 cards, their starting deck. And it's, like I say, a deck builder, and you will generate resources and whilst you're exploring the story and the story is pushing you to different locations, you'll be finding different items to help that you can then integrate into your deck and build your deck up to try and overcome the survive one more day. So yeah, one of the sort of twists, or two of the twists, I guess, on a traditional deck builder is it's story driven. So you'll play through one of 6 stories, and the stories will take you to different locations. They'll take you to different events. You'll have to overcome different obstacles. Get through certain situations and scenarios that are presented to you, and you've got to survive through to the end of the story, and then witness the death of the Martians to stay alive long enough to see all that, and you've won the game. And yeah, the other thing that's slightly different about this to other deck builders is that the marketplace changes depending on the location you're at. So if you're in the middle of the town, you probably wouldn't find like a flare gun or fishing stuff. Whereas if you go to the coast, you'll see like the fishing stuff and fishermen and things like that. So it's the marketplace changes depending on your location. And yeah, there's a lot of running away and dodging and evading these 200 foot tall metal Martians. So yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, I it was one game that Sam and I, managed to get in quite early to come and see you because it piqued our interest. Because I like a deck builder, but I'll freely admit, and I think I said to you when we were at the stand, I'm not normally a person that goes for a solo board game that's aimed at that solo aspect. But the fact that you can still do that as a couple. And make those decisions together sold it to me straight off. So yeah,
I didn't mention that, didn't I? So it was designed as a solo game, and it plays incredibly well. Obviously, plays really. I feel like it plays really well as a solo. But we've had so much. I mean, I don't think anybody played it solo at UKGE. Everyone's obviously coming with friends or family, and we'd had 2 or 3 or even 4 people sit down, and you just argue your way through deciding what's best and discussing what's best and trying to make the best next move.
And that happens in an apocalyptic, situation. And let's face it, if there was a zombie apocalypse or something along those lines in an invasion, just like War of the Worlds, you'd be bickering amongst yourselves about what you're going to do. So yeah, it's brilliant, and I love that element to it. So yeah, it works really well. So yeah,
Louis Downs. Excuse me. That's what I get for not speaking for so long. Louis Downs on Facebook says, "Really like War of the Worlds themed game. Looking forward to getting that."
Awesome.
That's always good.
Jonathan last name on YouTube says, "Sounds fantastic, and running away from confrontation, that'll be him."
Yeah, that's something I really wanted to, because I've really tried to tie it back to the original text, the H.G. Wells novel, and all of there's no way you're fighting these things. You're just a little tiny human trying to survive, and I really wanted to really capture that in the game and not make it about fighting, making it about survival. So I hope, and the feedback I've had, everyone says that comes through really strongly. So I'm really pleased with that.
Yeah, Sam and I really enjoyed kind of making those decisions. So yeah, no, it's a good call. Right, so we'll jump around now to Scott. Scott, I'm sorry, you've gone a bit last, mate.
That's fine. Yeah, so at the expo this year, it was the first public demos of my upcoming game, Crumbs, the sandwich filler game.
I'm far too excited about it.
I got a lot of comments about the name. The British just love a good pun, and I lean into that as much as possible.
Yeah.
So it's an 18-card micro game about running a sandwich shop and making and serving sandwiches for a queue of hungry customers. So all of the cards represent ingredients, whether it's bread, ham, cheese, salad, and on the reverse of those cards are customer orders. So you randomly choose a couple of them at the beginning of the game to determine your starting queue, and they will all have a variety of sandwiches that they're looking to be served. And it is an efficiency and puzzle game. You have 5 actions each round to serve at least one sandwich, and your actions will take those ingredients and stack them on top of each other to form the sandwiches. But some of the orders are quite complex. A lot, excuse me, a lot of the sandwiches need more than 5 actions to complete, so you have to start working on some in an earlier round to ensure that you can keep that rhythm going of serving a sandwich to reset your actions and go again. It's quite a tight economy with obviously only 18 cards, so you have to spend your actions wisely to restock items into your counter as well to make sure that you can get the ingredients you need when you need them. It's a solo and co-op 2-player game, which has a slightly different gameplay to it. In the 2-player version, you control half the ingredients each, and you have to communicate to each other and pass each other the ingredients to make sure that everyone has got what they need. It's designed by Jonathan, last name, also known as Jonathan Antshell, and it's who popped up in our comments, and it's illustrated by Rory Muldoon as well. So Jonathan is a local designer to me at the playtesting group that I run, and Rory Muldoon is a artist, designer, and publisher in his own right.
No, that's great. I love the whimsy kind of almost flat look to the ingredients. The fact that they could almost be, actual sandwiches. So it's one thing that appeals about it very much to me. Was that kind of a look you were going for?
Yeah. It's you see in the video as you start to stack the ingredients together that they look like proper sandwiches once they've been assembled, and it's kind of like it has a slight 3D element to it, but it's like very much like a kind of an isometric view, and it's got that really clean style that Rory absolutely nails, and it fits in very much with kind of my brand as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I think there's a comment there, Gregor, as well. Yes, there is. Croydon for the win. Great look to the game. Nice follow on the last game too. Hope it does really well. That's always nice because we love your previous game, and that's another one we reviewed. So if you want to go check out Swatch on the site, then please do, because there's plenty of great things to come from everyone. So, but no, it's always nice to have you on the show and just talking about what's been going on. I mean, obviously, I think everyone's apart from obviously Matt. Yeah, you've all dipped into game design, but what started it all for you? If Scott, did you want to go first with that one?
Yeah, sure. I can actually blame Louis for that, as he got me into the industry. So I've been a tabletop gamer since I was like 9 years old, and it started with miniature gaming. And so I moved down to Croydon to step foot into the world of the miniature wargaming industry and worked for Hawk Wargames. And then following on from that, I ran E Street Games with a couple of friends, and we published our first board game in 2018. and then I went on to form Minerva to publish my own games and other games as well. And it was kind of, I think I started designing games probably about 10 years ago with my friends, kind of always thinking, oh, it'd be amazing if we could publish this or make it a thing. And we just kind of carried on tinkering. But then once I got involved in the industry and I met people through like UK Games Expo conventions and just all these other events, then I built up this fantastic network of like indie designers, and I set up the playtesting group in Croydon as well, which we run every week, and we have quite a big group now. It's been running for a few years, and it's really gone from strength to strength. So it's that kind of network that like really, I think, helps us indie designers shine.
Yeah. And I totally get that as well, because of course Nikita from Vatican Games has the independent magazine, that newsletter that she has, and I think there's quite a few people in this on this stream right now who knows Nikita from Vatican Games, or at least knows her name in the indie realm of making games. So it's a massive community, and it's very supportive. It's one of the most supportive communities I've ever been involved with, and I don't know what my life would be without it. So I'm always really thankful for the community that's behind it all, because we wouldn't be where we are. It's a very, you make a very good point from that. Let's mix it up and go to Matt. What started it all for you?
I don't know really. I mean, similar thing. I was back in miniatures board gaming from when I was 8 or 9, and then did that for a long time, and then dropped out of gaming entirely, and then got into board games. I guess I've always always been into board games to some extent. I guess we used to play a lot as a family and things. But I've just kind of fancied making a game, and because I was heavily into, I guess, the miniature stuff, I was like, I wanted to do some kind of miniatures war game, and I wanted to do a War of the Worlds theme, just because I absolutely love War of the Worlds in all its forms. But I decided that wasn't the right thing, because it was about typically about fighting. I don't know. I just really just decided I'm going to give it a go. It was kind of that typical, kind of that cliched story now, that it was pretty much the start of lockdown, and I was like, well, I've got a bit more time. So it was a bit of a cliche now, but it seems to be pretty true. So I spent a couple of months at the start of lockdown just hashing it out and cracking on. Didn't have any experience, didn't have any knowledge. I'd played a lot of games, I guess, and some of those flavors and influences can be seen, I guess, through the game. But it started out, it's now 250-260 cards, and moderately complicated, and lots of elements and things. But it started out incredibly simple. It used to be a deck of cards for your character and an event deck, and you had to survive for 10 turns. That was the start, and then it turned into this crazy story-driven thing that it's now become.
But it works so well.
Yeah,
it needs all those elements. I love those elements. So no, don't change it. No. What you've got now. It was an interesting journey. First game, and really fun, amazingly fun to do. Really enjoyed the process, and now still after playing it, I don't know, 500 times more, still love playing it. So I guess that's a good sign. That's a great sign, especially when it's your own game, because the last thing you ought to be doing is getting bored of your own game, because that's never a good thing.
No.
So let's mix it up again and go to Wonderbow, guys. Which one of you guys want to answer this one, or do you both want to answer it?
Wonderbow, it's only me here.
Oh yeah, sorry. Sorry. I know there's another one. The thing is, I know there's two of you part of Wonderbow. Obviously,
exactly.
It's only you here, so sorry.
No problem. Yeah, so actually that's exactly it. Sönke is my business partner in crime, also husband. And him and I, we have our own company full time, and we also like to play board games for like a lot of years too. And he designed actually Hunters of the Lost Creatures, and had that in our drawer like for years. And what we do passionately is like I love just to make projects happen, So I'm like, he's the designer and I'm the one who actually makes it happen. We last year we just decided to do the Kickstarter and see how it goes and what possibilities there are. But we actually didn't plan in the beginning to really jump into this kind of business. But as you said, the community is so nice and so amazing. Then we were like, oh, we have to do more projects here because everyone is so nice and everyone is so supportive and it's
exactly.
just so creative.
And you end up in this perpetual engine of, I'll just make another one. I'll just make another one.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to know what you've got coming next. And I think I did that. I did that to you, Scott, didn't I? Pretty much straight after Swatch, I was like, what have you got coming next? And he's like, I can't say, but there is something coming, I promise.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we've been like, we've published a book and we've published a documentary. So we've been kind of in the publishing world a little bit, but we thought like, we love to play, and he has this game and he has another design, but there are also so many good designers out there. We can also publish games from other designers. So, oh yeah, this could be a publishing house. Okay, let's focus on that. So that's how last year we started to form this plan to actually create wonderful games. And we're still doing it on the side. We're not like, we can't live off of it, but we hope one day we will. So that's our plan.
I think that's the same for a lot of independent publishers, that they want to do it. They'd love to do it full time, but it's a side project, because it's a passionate project as well as and something being a business related, because you want to see something you've nurtured, you've created, in people's hands and enjoying it. And I think everyone's on great journeys doing so, and Devilfy, you guys are on that journey, as too. You've got your game that I can say that's on Kickstarter now, but how did it start for you guys?
So Nick and I have been friends. We met in secondary school, just shy of 20 years ago, and we were actually introduced by a mutual friend who knew that we both played trading card games like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! At the time. And then over the last 20 years we've just spent a lot of time gaming together, say the trading card games, trying out different board games, running a lot of Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. I don't think we've ever got to the end of one. We nearly did once, but Nick killed my character, so that is the end, surely. And then a few years ago we met for some drinks and we were chatting about some games we played and some homebrew rules we'd introduced that we thought made things a bit fairer, a bit quicker, a bit more fun. And we thought, we'd always been interested in game design, read a lot about it, and thought, why don't we give it a go? So we agreed to meet back a couple of weeks later, both write down or come up with 3 ideas to pitch to each other. And we came back and Nick pitched me this idea where you were rolling dice to try and beat hardness values of rocks, to flip them and see if you came up with treasure. And it sounds unbelievable saying it, but I had come up with the same mechanic themed around a mining game. We had slight differences. Nick used a deck, I used like a kind of map, but we never even got to ideas 2 and 3 on our lists, because we just thought, right, well, we've got to do that.
Well, there you go. You got ideas for your next 2 games, then, haven't you?
Oh yeah, we've got some things ticking away in the background, but that we got together a while later, just bought some blank flashcards and made up a game in 2 hours, and then played it. And I think we both just instantly felt like we had something a bit different. And we found the first version of our rules from 2017, a couple of weeks back. So it's been a long time, a lot of tinkering to get it to where it is today.
Fantastic. That's great.
Cool. I think to add to that very quickly, apart
I was going to say you're the last one to answer.
Been such long friends and am I? Can you hear me? Am I okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah, good few. I have, yeah, I was saying to Chris before, I mean, temperamental internet. Yeah. So part of it was, we decided we're going to try it a bit fun. We did we made homebrew kind of campaigns for Magic the Gathering, I think, where you were on different planes, it would give you different abilities, that sort of thing, and decided to kind of take it further. And the thing for us is really, no matter what, at the end of the day, it would be cool to just go into a shop and see something that we'd made on a shelf, and that's really been the kind of driving factor for it. But along the way, it's been a lot more learning a lot about what we like doing, like what we're really capable of, and actually meeting so many great people too. So it's been, it's fun to flex the creative muscle, but it's nice to see other people's like creative muscles and what they all come up with and everything too. So it's been a really fun journey.
And we have taken an earlier iteration of the game to one of Scott's playtesting nights at the Ludquist, where we got some excellent constructive criticism from that night. So I'm sure that's really helped to get the game to the polished state it's in now.
So I was actually thinking, as you were talking about it, I was like, oh, I remember someone brought a game a bit like that to my playtesting. I mean, that would have been 2019,
2018, I think.
Yeah. It was a while back, but I was like, oh, that sounds a bit familiar. So yeah, it's really cool to see that it's progressed so much from there, and it's made it to the point of being published as well, or on the road to being published.
How many games do you reckon that you see that come through your playtesting nights?
What then go on to get published or signed?
Well, just generally,
just
how many
in general?
Yeah, I don't know, what the success rate is, I suppose.
I mean, I am one of those stats nerds, and I do track
really.
Might come as a shock. Yeah, and I do track every game I play at all the playtesting sessions, and everyone who attends for the last couple of years as well, because it helps us see, when we look back at like, oh yeah, like, do you remember this game? Who brought it or whatever? But I mean, yeah, we have some people. She's come back. We have some people who will be hyper focused on one game, and they'll bring it along for like 18 months and continue working on it. And then we have really prolific designers who'll bring like a new design every couple of weeks, because they've just got all these ideas that they need to put down. So yeah, it can really vary. But I did do a quick count, and I think there was about 6 or 7 games that have been play tested that are published, have either been signed or published. I guess there's I can add a few more to that list as well. Some that I might not be aware of that have then gone on to be created as well.
Fantastic. That's great. So very quickly, I've seen a comment come through from Michael Charles on YouTube. Oh, where it's gone. There you go. Having played Undermined, it's a very fun time, and playing convinced me to back Devilfly's Kickstart. Well, there you go. That's what we like to hear, and I'm sure the guys like to hear that too. So, and I think it's done the same's done for me from my personal experience.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. That's good.
Being at Expo, and actually physically playing some of these games that sometimes you may not, as daft as it sounds, glance at first try, but then you see it and you see people playing it and go, actually, that looks really good. And then you take the time to go back and play them. And I had that. Well, I know Sam had that with you guys, regarding Undermined. I did with regarding War of the Worlds, because I'm not a solo gamer and I flipping loved it. I've spoken to Laia about your game before, and then of course then you told me you got your new one coming and you guys were coming to Expo. I was excited to see it, but you guys were busy. I didn't think I saw someone not playing Kelp. There wasn't even a space to try and even get a go of it. So
yeah, actually people said like, can we book a time? And I was like, I didn't know I had to make lists or something like that. So yeah, now for Spiel maybe we will, because we are traveling to quite a few conventions before we do the Kickstarter. We are going to Gen Con too, and then to Spiel in October. So maybe we'll do a list there. But that was crazy busy, but it was really cool. So.
I had a similar thing. By about 10:30 on the Saturday morning, I was booked. Was it Friday, Saturday, or both days? I think just booked out for the rest of the day. I was like, "What's going on?" People were just coming along and wanting to book a slot and come back and play. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the thing, you know, these people that come to Expo and do that, then go on, you know, and spread the word themselves because they go, I had a really nice experience. I played, you know, Undermined, or I played, you know, Kelp, or I played, you know, Crumbs, and it was brilliant. You need to go and check it out, and it spreads like wildfire around Expo, you know, because so not everyone, you know, looks at the magazine, knows where they want to go. Loads of people go to Expo because they just want to walk around, browse, window shop, and then go, ooh, shiny, what's that? And because of that, you get blinkered and you don't always see anything. So when you get people who do sit down and play this, and then it spreads like Wi-Fi, it you know, it's word of mouth, and it helps, because sometimes you wouldn't, it's a target audience you wouldn't normally appeal to. And I'm sure our statisticians, Scott, would probably back me up on that. Yeah.
It was a great, I thought it was a great compliment just hearing someone wander past and say, point to the Undermined sign and say, oh yeah, so and so told me about this. I said I must try it before I go home, and just overhearing that, and it's a real buzz. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I think any designer who says, hearing that, you know, and someone say something good about your game, is lying if it doesn't make them feel good or smile, because that's what you're doing it for. There you go. I've got smiles all around the room. There you go. So that kind of leads me on to you know, a little point that I'd sort of like to ask. What was your favorite moment? That will not go away. What is your favorite moment of UK Games Expo? You know, whether it was an interaction with someone, or whether it was just something a little quirky that's just sat out in your mind. We'll start with Laia.
Okay, so I actually have two favorite moments. So one of them was, I was like finally eating something, and then a family came up and said like, we backed your Kickstarter and our kids love the game. I just wanted to tell you. And I'm like, oh wow, okay. So I wasn't expecting like to have people come by and say we backed the game a year ago, and it's super nice. And then when I spoke to the guys from Senate magazine, I was like, yeah, how can I pitch you a game? And I was just showing my phone, and then this image came up on my phone, and they were like, wait, it's Shark versus Octopus. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't even told you the name. It's like, yeah, we want to play test it for sure. And I was like, okay, so are you pitching me now? So it's so weird, because I wanted to pitch you the game so you can publish it. So that was just super, super cool to see that people really like what we do. So, and as you said, put smiles on their faces. So
yeah, fantastic. What about you, Scott?
Yeah, I'm gonna be cheeky now. I've got two as well. So I think the main one was the difference between like last year and this year, or just like the early years of Minerva, where I was, you know, I did a lot of conventions, and I was sat there and I was trying to persuade people to come down and play Swatch. Like, hey, this game, you've never heard of it, but I promise it's good. And you know, you have to put a lot of effort into kind of drawing people in. Whereas this year with Crumbs, it's been completely different. There's been so much buzz about it, like beforehand, and also because we released the print and play files for playtesting to the public, to like my newsletter subscribers, we had people who've already played it, and the game's not even out yet. And so we had loads of people like coming to the stand because they wanted to check it out, because they'd heard people talk about it. It was published in Senate magazine in the issue that just came out before the expo as well. So loads of people saw it and then came straight there. And it's such a shift. It was really nice to see that kind of you feel a lot more established then.
My Senate copies are all the way over there, but yeah.
And my second one was just on the Friday evening. A few of indie designers and reviewers got together to do a podcast episode with the offline gamers. So I got to meet a couple of new people, but also meet some people that I'd only ever spoken to online, like Chris from Unfringed. And we formed a quiz team and we were not quite as good as we thought we would be.
Chris from Unfringed is lovely, and
yeah,
I met him through Twitter very early on, starting out with the channel, and we reviewed Zuli very early on, and we fell in love with the game. And every time I see him, it's just like seeing a best friend. He's lovely.
Yeah, I mean, we got on immediately, but we don't ever spoke online. But then when we were chatting before the show, we were like, "Oh wait, we've never actually met." We just assumed that we had because we just knew each other so well because we chatted about all the whole plethora of indie designer stuff. So yeah, that was really nice.
What about you, Matt? You can have 2 as well if you'd like.
Oh, why not? I mean, the bit that made me kind of smile the most was when people came over and were like, "Oh, I saw this. I really had to. I just wanted to come and see you and play the game," and that was really nice to hear. And all the great feedback from those people, from the people playing. But I guess the bit that sticks out is a funny thing towards the end. You've been gaming since, what was it, 6 o'clock Thursday, and it was Sunday at about 3 o'clock, and it's absolutely, I was done, absolutely exhausted. And but somebody came over and he goes, "Oh, sorry, I've been meaning to come back and see you. Is it all right to have a game?" And we had a game, and he got so engaged with it. So I was absolutely wiped out, and I was like, "Yeah, okay." But then as soon as he started playing, I got excited, and it started getting exciting in the game, and and all my energy came back again. And that was probably my favourite bit, was just getting re-energized when somebody's playing the game, and then them really enjoying it. I think that was really nice.
And that's a good sign for the game as well, that if that's something, if it keeps you interested, even after playing it non-stop for 4 days.
It still gets me. There's still moments in it, and it gets my blood pumping. All right, turn the card over. We've got to find out what happens next. That was probably my favourite bit, because I thought I was done, and I wasn't going to do another game. And this guy was really keen. I was like, let's do it, and we did it, and it was awesome. So I really enjoyed that.
You might have muted yourself, Chris. If you're saying words, we can't hear them.
I'm not saying words, no. But I can do if you'd like.
Nah, it's all good. I think it was me. I was muted because I coughed prior. So Chris, what about yourself? You both get 1 each.
Yeah, that sounds
that's
fair.
only fair now, isn't it? Yeah.
So I think for me it was there's one test that I did with a group of 3 people who sat down to play, and we started going through the game, and it was just going horribly. Every time they turned the deck over, there was a peril. We hit 7 perils in a row before we found any treasure. Everyone had lost all the everyone had lost all their items, all their money. No one had anything. Some people started clawing some resources back, and one of the players she'd given up hope, so she just thought, I'll just have some fun. She started buying the kind of fancy items from the shop that were worth victory points. She's like, I'll have a golden hard hat, that'll be funny. I'll buy that golden pickaxe. And basically she's bought all these items, and then just completely out of nowhere, suddenly she realized she was only 1 treasure away from winning. And so on her turn, she just plays a card, gets some money, buys an explosive, finds a treasure, and just won out of absolutely nowhere. And even though 3 out of the 4 players had just lost, everybody just, I think, even literally stood up and cheered and laughed. And it was absolutely fantastic. Just a really great moment.
Fantastic. I like moments like that. Yes, but the game screwed me over the first time I played it as well.
You learn quickly that safety gear is important, don't you?
What safety gear? It was all stuck at the bottom. What about yourself?
Yeah, so for me, I think it was another game that Chris demoed, and it was possibly the shortest game we've ever seen. Well, we must have played possibly in the hundreds now, because our first show was UK Games last year, and we've done a couple since. And so, you get to the end of it and you kind of think, that was good, I've done it all. But the game sometimes says we put on there half an hour, 60 minutes. This was first round, second person won the game. Just looking over through Chris, through some really crazy sequence of cards that just happened, this once in a blue moon thing, and he was just like, yeah, I'll kleptomania and steal something, I'll kleptomania and steal something else, I'll buy this and bought like the 2 biggest explosives and was able to just like blast everything, got no perils, and just ended up with like 15 points of treasure on his first go. So I think hopefully he had a good time and backed it, but you know, it's I think you racked up and went again. Yeah,
is definitely a good one to play. You know, if you're hoarding that, you're not playing it right. Get it played.
It's fun. It's fun for everybody. No, who doesn't love a bit of stealing all the good stuff from the shop? You know.
Exactly.
It really gets the game moving as well. I think it's one of the designs we're proudest of in the game.
Yeah. I'm going to mix it up, and I'm now going to ask Gregor, what were your favourite moments from Expo?
Echoing a lot of what everyone else has said, like I feel like even as a Diary of Lincoln Geek team, we don't meet up in person all that often. Most of the conversations that we have are online. We don't all live in Lincoln, despite what some people think. So as a result, it means that actually UKGE is probably the most time that we spend with each other. It's that, and we do a 24-hour live stream every year, and then occasional other meetups. But like, UKGE is the time that we solidly like spend most time with each other and play with each other, and I really enjoy that. Just having a time where I can dedicate and go, all right, we're gonna play new games, find out interesting new things, and then the advantage of we actually had a press pass this year. That was nice. It's a press that made me feel very important, very loved. And having that and just being able to go and talk to people, find out new things, being able to see new things that we think are cool. That's definitely part of what I enjoy about what we get out of UK Games Expo. One of the things that I saw, the video overlays. Okay, cool. Was this game called Kugo? And basically, it's like a dexterity game system that I thought was really cool. And mostly the reason that I enjoyed it so much, as you can see, it's mostly about flicking discs and trying to knock over the little wooden standees that you've got on each person's opposite side on that particular game. But it's a game system, so they've got multiple games with the blocks that you get in the box. And I really liked that particularly because it was such an opportunity. It felt like it was a really good opportunity to go, and actually other people can make other games out of this, which is the sort of thing that I really like. For like coming away from the weekend and feeling really inspired about new stuff.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I will add on to that as well, and I will echo what Gregor said as well. It's the fact that obviously we get to spend time as a group of people, a group of friends that produce, content, for people who ask us to review their games. We didn't start out like that. While we actively get asked to do reviews now, it started out with me, going, "Oi, Scott, do you want us to review your game?" And he goes, "Who the hell are you?" And that's how it starts. You've got to kind of put yourself out there. And what was really nice was bumping into fellow content creators who recognized you. So I bumped into probably 3 or 4 different content creators that I know through either TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and they're like, "Chris," and I'm like, "Oh my god, what are you doing here?" And you're hugging this completely random stranger, but they're not, because you feel like you know them because they're a friend at the other end of the screen. It's just that was what made my expo, was meeting and seeing these other fellow content creators, as well as obviously you guys at Expo. It just makes my year. Other than spending time with my family, spending time with my friends and people in the board gaming community is my second favorite thing to do. So
it's also your second family.
Yeah, it is. It's a massive, second family, and the longer, all the while we get to continue doing what we're doing with Diary of a Lincoln Geek, we'll continue to do it as long as people ask us to do things. So
sometimes I think as a second family, we're higher maintenance.
Maybe a little bit, but not by much. Right. If anything, I think it's the other way around. I'm the high maintenance one. You're all trying to please. So, but yeah, no, it's never a dull day, is it, Gregor?
No. talking of content from UK Games Expo, there's videos, and there'll be more videos coming up on our YouTube channel as well when I find some spare time to edit them. So yeah, one of the other things that I enjoy about at UK Games was chatting to people about various things. The two that are up at the moment are chatting with Nikita, who we've already mentioned, and we got to have a sneaky playthrough of Malum Hortus, which is shaping up to be really cool. Even though even Nikita was saying it's the second game that she designed, but it's going to be her 6th one published. It's been a long time in the making, but it looks like it's going to be really good. And then Blue Donut, whose Kickstarter for Horror in the Library just finished. That's really cool as well. I'm really glad their Kickstarter funded this time. So congrats to them.
Yes, congrats, guys.
The other thing that we got to chat about as well is their venture into RPGs, which Marcus from Blue Donut said to me that that's not something that they think that they've told anyone else about. So if you want to find out about that, we are probably the first people to mention it in public on the internet. So if you want to go and watch that video, there'll be more. I spoke to Scott about Crumbs as well. That'll be coming on some point soon, and that's where that random video footage came from that he wasn't expecting. And yeah, there's all sorts of there's a few other videos to come as well from UKGE.
Yeah,
but that's all on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. We took a very relaxed approach to UKGE this year because, of course, previously, anyone who's familiar with the channel, we did a lot of live streams, like I mentioned earlier, and we were light on the Diary of a Lincoln Geek ground crew this year. It was me, Gregor, and Sam, and we just thought, no, you know what? Let's just go around and enjoy the event, play some games, and actually play games with people who we've not had a chance to in the past. So it was a great experience, and without a doubt, it is why we all do this. We all do it because we love games. We all play games, if you enjoy games and you've enjoyed the show and enjoyed watching the show and you aren't already subscribed, please obviously do check out our social media platforms. We're across them all, but we're literally about to break the barrier of 4K followers across all our platforms. So pick a platform that you like and follow it because we're really chuffed about it. And that's dedicated subscribers. So it's really exciting. We want to get to 6K before the end of the year. That's the challenge, and also make some progress with our own game.
Do we have a Threads account yet? That's a thing now.
Sorry, what?
A Threads account.
No, talk to me about it later. I don't know what that is. Do we really need another one? There's enough to manage.
You just log in with Instagram. It's fine. It's basically Instagram, but for people who like words.
Oh, right, okay. All right. Well, if you want to look after it, you can do it. I've got TikTok to cope with. That's hard enough work. I'm sure Leia will agree with me on that one.
I think we're at the point where there's like a new social media platforming launching every month, so you've got to pick your battles, haven't you?
Yeah, you've got to pick one you think you can cope with. And I'll tell you what, if anyone who hasn't discovered it and has multiple profiles like we do, I cannot recommend Metrical enough. I am not kidding. They have a free process, a free account that you can do, and it's like 50 posts a month. And so for some people on some platforms, that's enough. And it'll do it to your TikTok, it'll do it to your Instagram, it'll do it to your Facebook. It's just brilliant. And if you're a stats fan like Scott, you'll flipping love it. Trust me. It's awesome. So if you want to support us, we actually have a Metrical affiliate link on our website, so go check out our website because we've got lots of other affiliate schemes on there as well that helps keep the channel afloat. So I'm not going to jabber on anymore because I've had a really good chat. I could probably chat for at least another hour because you're all such lovely people, but we've kind of come to time. That was really quick.
Yeah,
it comes to end every time I do a live show. I'm like, and we're at time. We really should do a longer show at some point. but we won't do it today. I just want to thank you all individually for coming on and having a chat to us. For anyone who we haven't done a review of yet, then obviously do bear with us, because we are hoping to do some reviews with the games that the guys have chatted about. I think we're on the list for Scott's Crumbs. We've already obviously done Devil Flies Undermined, so check that out. We haven't done yours yet, Matt, but of course I think we talked about doing that, so hopefully he'll get one across to us for review. And Leia, well, we've talked about multiples, and I think we're going to try and arrange that, because obviously it was too much to try and in just such short amount of time that I spoke to you during Expo. We'll arrange something in the next couple of months. We've got a bit of a backlog, but we can cope. So, right. Oh, crikey! I do got a question. Do you post a recording? I hopped on late. Yes, you have hopped on late, Zazu. On TikTok, yes, you can be able to watch this back live. Well, not live. You'll be able to watch this back on our YouTube channel. The recordings stay there, so you can enjoy the entire show. And of course, if you have got any questions if you are watching this back live, I think most of the guys here follow us on any of the social media platforms, so you can pop your question on there, and they will probably answer it by all means. So, without further ado, thank you, everyone. In the meantime, take care, everyone. Stay safe, and remember, keep gaming.
Thanks
very much.
bye.
All right. Cheers.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Cheers.